Hari Om, Bhagavad Gita, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, chapter 18, verse 55. Continuation. Yesterday, we saw explanation of Swami Dayananda Saraswati for this verse. Swami Dayananda Saraswati said, Bhakti is knowledge. Without knowledge, one cannot know Bhagavan. Bhagwan Krishna says, only by knowledge one can know what am I and who am I. Thereafter, the seeker enters me, capital M, capital E. We also saw what is the meaning of thereafter. It is not after certain point in time. It is like the snake appearing as rope. Once you get the knowledge, then it is immediate. There is no gap. Today we will see the explanation of Swami Chinmayananda, verse 55. Bhaktya mamabhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvatah tado mam tattvado jnatva vishade tadanantaram. Bhagavan says, by devotion he comes to me. Bhaktya. Swami Chinmayananda says, devotion here should not be misunderstood as any ceremonial display of devotion, like making offerings, showing your wealth in golden plates or in silver plates, apples, pomegranate, oranges, bananas, cashew nuts, then kismis, badam. Sir, I have done so much. Not that. That is not what Bhagavan is expecting. Or ringing bells, chanting slogas. So that is not devotion. It is all preliminary to devotion. Devotion is love for Supreme. Your love, absolutely unadulterated love. Gopika Stris, they showed so much of love for Bhagavan. They never wanted anything else except Bhagavan. We want everything else except Bhagavan. We show it outside. But inside we know that we have something, some agenda in our heart. How is that love measured? Love is measured by the degree of identification the lover has got with the beloved. I repeat, what is the measure of love? Love is measured by the degree of identification with the lover has got with his beloved. When an egocentric individual, after having made all the adjustments, the 12 adjustments which Bhagwan Krishna said, after you make those adjustments, increasingly seeks and discovers his identity with the self. He comes to experience the true nature of the self more and more clearly. Bhagwan Krishna says, such a seeker alone comes to understand what am I and who am I. So Chinmayananda says, throughout the Gita, the first person singular, I and me, indicates the supreme goal. It is not Bhagavan Krishna who is indicated by the words I and me. It is Bhagavan Krishna's own song. Gita is Bhagavan Krishna is giving it to revive his devotees. Hence the pronouns used indicate the Paramatma. To know the self means to know both its nature and identity. Scriptural study only gives an intellectual comprehension. You can vaguely understand what it is. Intellectual comprehension of truth, scriptural study, and not its essence. That is spiritual apprehension of truth as lived experience. Seeing somebody making globe jamun in a TV show, you can reasonably appreciate how it will be. She will show you that wonderful black color globe jamun tossed with cardamom and other things. You can see everything. Experience zero. You can only see. So scriptural study only shows that. Only shows what is the nature of Bhagavan, etc. Experience nil. So to know the self means to know both its nature and identity. The experience comes through slow and steady unfoldment of light of consciousness. The seeker comes to apprehend the infinite when he drops the identification with his matter equipments, body, mind, and sense. Identification, those identifications are caused by ignorance. You identify with your body because of avidya, because of ignorance. The individuality ends, and thereafter he enters me. That is what Bhagavan says. Once your individuality ends, then you enter me. Swami Chinmayananda says, similar to what Swami Dayananda Saraswati said, the entry mentioned here is not something like somebody entering his house from outside to inside. There is no ego to enter in the plane of God consciousness. The term entry is used in the same sense as a dreamer entering into waking state or a waker entering into dreaming state. What happens when you want to sleep? You are awake for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Suddenly you don't know at what point in time you slept. The merging finish. A waker becomes a sleeper and the sleeper becomes a waker. So entry is like that. One cannot retain his individuality when he enters from one state to another. Similarly, when the ego enters God consciousness, the individuality cannot be retained as such. You cannot remain in a waking state and still sleep. That is not possible. Sir, I sleep in the class, you do not know. I keep my eyes open and then sleep. If you say like that, I can't answer that. Even then, even though your eyes are open, you are not a waker because you don't know what is happening in the class. You are already gone into the sleeping state. So one cannot retain his individuality when he enters from one state to another. Similarly, when the ego enters God consciousness, the individuality cannot be retained as such. The misconception that he is an individual ends and he discovers, he becomes or gets awakened to the infinite consciousness, Brahmanhood, state of Krishna consciousness. That is the state of Krishna consciousness. The more you shed your ego, the more you can feel the divine presence. That is what I understand. Ego must go. Ego must be completely erased. Then you become divine. Till the time you retain your individuality, the ego, you cannot see the divine presence. So ego, slowly and steadily, ego must go. Then only we can see, we can taste God. That is what I feel. Verse 55 again. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvataham tado mam tatvado jnatva vishade tadanantaram. Next verse we will see tomorrow. Harihom sarvam krishnarpanamastu. Narayana 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 நாராயண 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 நாராயண